The Cats beat the Dogs in the battle of the domesticated house animal.
Jake Stringer single-handedly takes down Hawthorn.
And Carlton are really shit. This is the DrewFooty Show.
Nice.
Hey, long road, took a tumble down this black hole. Stuck in Sunday League, but I'm on levels with
Welcome
Ronaldo.
back to another episode of the DrewFooty Show. We're back, baby. To be involved in the show, go follow DrewFooty_ on Instagram. I set out a goal at the start of the month, Jesse, to hit 5,000 subscribers, and I said in the first week of June that it was looking likely. I had exams, didn't upload for a week, and it halted my progression, and now I'm not going to hit 5k. Unless all the people watching subscribe, because this many people aren't subscribed, Jesse. So statistically speaking, it's possible. But it is very unlikely. But if you can help me reach this goal, because otherwise I'll just look like an absolute plonker.
Putting the responsibility of his success on you. Help him.
But yeah, 5k by the end of June. If we could do that at this point, it'd be a fucking miracle.
We'll go to Metros.
Angus Matthews has sent in Bloke of the Week again. So Angus Matthews could be the Bloke of the Week in his own right.
Shout out to you, Silent G.
Anus Matthews. Get pumped.
Oh, what a leap. Oh, baby.
Sells the candy. It's not the first time he sold candy. Or maybe he stole candy or something, because he's a big fella. But look at that. One hand out of the ruck, sells the candy.
Graceful.
Bang, bang. He moves like a prime Scott Pendlebury. You are the Bloke of the Week.
Is that something we say together, or I don't know?
Yeah, I don't know. You're the Bloke of the Week. Yeah, congratulations, mate. You get a free Smartie. Friday night footy, Cats versus Dogs down at GMHBA. And we live streamed this game, so we know every single thing that happened, Jesse.
Yeah, I had 3 beers, though, so I was fucked.
You couldn't separate these two teams for the duration of the game. It's like once Jesse finds a girl on a night out, you can't separate.
That was bad time.
Can't separate the two. So yeah, it didn't go past 2 goals between the two teams. There wasn't a margin more than 12 points. And you couldn't really tell which way this game was going. We both tipped Geelong, because we're fucking experts. Tom Stewart for the Cats was the most impressive player for me on ground. I don't know who you thought, but Tom Stewart, every time that ball was near him, it wasn't an issue for him. He dealt with it every time. An absolute general and absolutely deserving of another All-Australian cap, or jacket.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not real, but...
Yeah, he deserves to be All-Australian after that performance alone, just about. It was unreal. I predicted Norton not to kick a goal, Jesse, because I don't like him. To be frank, and he didn't kick a goal. He did get absolutely injured in that second quarter just before halftime. He's got an absolute huge hip and shoulder in the ribs and didn't come out back to play. Going into the fourth quarter, it was still back and forth. Bontempelli had a set shot from right in front that he missed, which probably ended up costing the Dogs in the end. Toby McLean kicked a goal out of nothing that just trickled across the line with about 3 minutes left. I had faith in the Cats to win, because they just always find a way. They're one of those teams that'll just always find a way to win. The ball ended up in the Cats' half. Cam Guthrie won a 50-50. Gave it to Isaac Smith, I think. Set up Gary Rowan after the siren. Set shot, baby. We're thriving. This is good content. And then Gary Rowan lines up, Jesse. And I think we both initially thought that he bellied it and it was going to go out on the full. But it swung back around and went straight through the big sticks. Won the Cats the game. Unreal scenes. One of the best games of the year so far.
I'd be interested to see the stats on players kicking after the siren, because I swear about 80% of the time they seem to kick it. And there's been some difficult shots. Your Robbie Grays, your Jack Nunes, and then Gary Rowan on a similar angle as well. Yeah. Very, very impressive.
David Mundy missed one after the siren at GMHBA.
Yeah, right. But he's also kicked one himself.
He has.
Against Richmond, so yeah.
I'm going to give Gary Rowan the winner of the week this week, Jesse, literally because...
he's doing it to players now.
Yeah, well...
Is that a handshake?
No,
I knew that.
I can give you a handshake if you want
Please,
to. He's the winner of the week because he won the game this week. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Gary Rowan, you are the winner of the week. Nice. How many close games have Geelong had this year? Like, this could be a very different season for Geelong, but they've just had the luck. I don't know if it's luck or whatever, but just beating the Lions where they should have probably lost that game, winning after the siren against the Dogs. only
Hawks.
just beating
Hawthorn by 5 points.
Hawthorn by 5 points. Collingwood was a pretty close game.
10 points.
Unconvincingly beating Gold Coast. But they also just show up to the big games as well. Like they smashed the Tigers. They beat Port Adelaide away. Now they've beaten the Western Bulldogs, one of the best teams in the comp, at home. So they're just getting it done, the Cats. And,
Yeah. At the end of the season, you just look back on the win-loss ledger. You don't look at like, oh, they could have won this game. Yeah, that's ultimately what separates the best teams.
Gold Coast versus Port Adelaide kicked off the Saturday games. It was Robbie Gray's 250th game, 250 shades of grey. It was a darker shade for the man on this day because he did his left knee. He injured it. Medial injury. Might be an MCL. So he's going to... Lots of MCLs popping up.
Yeah.
Popping off.
Happens to the best of you.
Yeah, Joe does, buddy. So he'll be out probably for 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
That'll be great.
That's a blow.
At least, because he's going to have surgery. But I think they've got Butters and Dersma coming back in.
They must be close, yeah.
Very soon. So the reinforcements are coming, which is lucky for Port Adelaide. Ollie Wines continues his great season. He had 42 touches. Connor Rosé seems to be getting back into form. I think he had 3 goals and 19 disposals. So it's all going well at Port Adelaide at the moment.
Wines is not completely out of the conversation with the Brownlow. Like, he's definitely an All-Australian mid right now. And he might not win the Brownlow, but I reckon he'll pull very highly this year.
Probably be top 5.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it. And Rosie's had 8 goals in 2 games. So things are looking rosy.
Nice. The team they played, though, the Gold Coast Suns, should be called the Gold Coast Moons because they have nothing bright in that side, Jesse. They're fucking diabolical. Losers of the week. What can you say about Gold Coast, Jesse? We've got a comment here from Jizzle Neal, the man. He's been in every week, just about.
Prominent.
Where are Gold Coast at? They start seasons good, but fall off every year. Where are Gold Coast at, Jesse?
I think we just need to temper our expectations and remember this is a very young side with a lot of young gun players. Like one of their best forward this year is 20? Ben King. He's in All-Australian calculations. Had really bleak a couple of weeks. I think he had 3 possessions of 2 goals on the weekend. People are expecting a lot of Matty Rao. He obviously hasn't quite recaptured it. So personally, for me, I just think, in fact, I think they've kind of improved. It's round 14 just gone, and that was one of their few really, really bad performances. Whereas, in previous years, they've dropped off a lot harder, a lot earlier. So,
when you're kicking 2 goals at home in the first half, though, there was no excuse to not show up to that game. It's always the same people that show up for them, though. Like Tuke Miller had a good game, Noah Anderson,
but 19 years old, and I think Tuke Miller's 25. Is the same age as Liam Duggan. So you're asking a guy at West Coast by comparison, who's sort of the young next generation, but Gold Coast, he's leading them.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I just don't see... Do you think Gold Coast will ever win a flag as a franchise? It just doesn't seem like they have 22 players each week that have really bought into the project. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting here. There seemed to be no hunger. And the stadium was empty and I don't know. It's just bleak.
Throwing shots.
It's just shit though.
Yeah, I get it. I won't excuse that performance. But I think for me, it's a case of trust the process. I think it's a slow burn process. It was never going to happen overnight. And they've got a lot of talent that will hopefully make the grade.
Yeah, but to not make the finals in 10 years, I mean, I'm looking at a macro scale.
Yeah, you're looking at it too broad, I think. You've got to assess the last couple of years.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, still shit.
So the Kangaroos played the Lions. I think that was in Tasmania as well. So there was 2 games in Tasmania. Tasmania treated to some good football this weekend.
That's what happens when you have no COVID.
So there were no comments that we received on this game, and it was just a gritty affair, Jesse, in tough conditions. The Lions defended well. They set up very well defensively, as I like to say. They only allowed 15 scores off something like 44 inside 50. So a solid effort, even though it was tough conditions and against North Melbourne.
I think North Melbourne's backline also held up well. They kind of weathered the Brisbane storm for a little while, and Brisbane eventually broke through, which I was kind of hoping North would get the upset there, because as an Eagles fan, just ambitiously hoping 4th spot opens up. But not to be. Brisbane don't really drop games to crap teams very often. They're pretty consistent.
GWS played Carlton on Saturday night. 2 teams with their backs against the wall, Jesse. Both teams desperately needing this win. On Just the Tips last week, we were sort of 50-50 on who to tip. I just lean towards GWS because they've actually been good in the last 5 years.
Well, the only reason I was iffy on Carlton is not because I rate them, but it was just surely they're going to pull out a performance that sort of almost makes up for their last 2 months, 3 months of this season so far. Have they really looked good since they clapped Fremantle?
No.
I don't think.
And that was Freo's worst performance of the season as well.
Okay, so they did beat Essendon.
Yeah.
Which, you know, looking at the ladder now and broadly, like that's a good win, but it's few and far between. And yeah, no, I expected a response and then went down by 6 goals. And I know their fans are absolutely blue.
GWS, the best GWS side, showed up. Finlayson was just having fun out there. Literally looked like he was playing locals footy. Kicked 5 goals. Toby Green with a Toby Green performance. 4 goals, 19 touches, and a suspension. So yeah. Toby's really showed
Classic.
up. Yeah.
He's a real piece of shit, that guy, but God, he's a good player.
And then, Taranto, Whitfield, Hopper in the middle, just all performed, which hasn't always been the case this season. All their stars firing, but it's what GWS are capable of. They just need to perform more consistently.
Yeah, they faltered a little bit. Where they were obviously their last good performance was against West Coast. They looked pretty solid. Then they travelled to the Gabba, got well beaten by a better side. Then disappointing against North Melbourne, it has to be said, to not get 4 points there. So good to see them kind of regain a bit of momentum.
GWS tagged Sam Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot who it was, but Sam Walsh was tagged. He only had probably was their tagger, Matt DeBoer. Sam Walsh was kept to 20 touches, which would probably be one of the least he's had this season. So Sam Walsh, his impact on the game wasn't as much as it usually is, and there's not many players in that Carlton side that can lift. There's not many players that can dig them out of the trenches. The only players that can do that really are Cripps and Walsh, and when you take half of that out of the equation, Carlton aren't really going to be in the game. First half, shocking from Carlton. In the third quarter, they kicked 4 straight. They started to sort of play with a lot less fear, started to take the game on a bit. There was a play in particular where Zach Williams just burst past like 3 GWS players and set up a goal. And it was like, all right. And they kicked 4 goals in a row.
It's a fair point to make. Like, I wonder if they need to start playing with less of a fear of failure, because obviously there's so much scrutiny on them right now. And it's almost, that's kind of what I expected this game to be. Almost like, okay, it can't get much worse. Let's just attack this game with everything we've got. Or we didn't see it. It'll probably come at some point this year, you'd hope. But
probably against Freo at Optus in 2 weeks. So heading into that last quarter, I think they were only a couple goals behind, or 17 points or something like that. So they were a bit of a sniff after that third quarter. But GWS just kept kicking goals, just kept pegging them back. And once the game was somewhat out of reach, Carlton just gave in and gave up. And it's a shit time to be a Carlton supporter. If it hasn't been for the last 20 years, it's an especially shit time to be a Carlton supporter now. Because when you think about it, they have like a good enough spine to be in the top 8 side. Full back to full forward, they've got a good spine. There's just too many spuds in that side. I don't really think their list is that good. Carlton fans might disagree and just say that the players aren't performing. But I just think there's so many spuds in that side. You recruited well in the summer with guys like Zach Williams and Adam Sard because they've been clear improvements to your side. But still need to get rid of quite a lot of deadwood, I think.
Yeah, and they, as I think it was Dermot Brereton made the point, they've spent $2.5 million on 3 flankers in Jack Martin, Zach Williams, and Adam Sard. So while they're all decent to good players individually, maybe they haven't added to like really key parts of the ground, like their midfield in particular. Because it's Paddy Cripps and Sam Walsh, and Paddy Cripps isn't even good form, and beyond that, it's like, I don't know.
Bit shallow. This is what David Teague had to say after the game. Right now, we're in a real pit. We're not playing great football. We're not playing with confidence. When your coach is saying that, it's a bit how you going. You look to your coach for some motivation, for the vision of your club, and he's saying, yeah, we're pretty fucked, eh?
It's a bit defeatist, yeah. That's true. Do you think we've had enough time with Teague? It's only been it's been less than 2 years.
I don't know. I'm not going to say Teague out.
No.
Who do Carlton even take, to be honest?
I think if you look at just like the record of all the coaches that have taken over Carlton and then shat the bed, it's hard to imagine you can just replace Teague and then, it's going to be better. I think you need to give Teague time to turn over what is obviously a bit of a loser culture, you'd have to say. I think even Carlton fans can agree with that.
Yeah.
And then even just getting the quality on the list, that's going to take time as well.
We got a question here from Bailey Meade, and he asked, will Carlton ever make finals? No, never again. It's not going to happen. It's longer off than I think Carlton fans think it is.
I think I thought they were going to finish 9th and push this year, and they're a fair way off doing that, to be honest. They might have a big resurgence in the second half of the year. I'm inclined to say they're probably 2 years off.
Yeah, I think 2 years. But Carlton fans, have your say in the comments. What is happening at Carlton? Another game down in Tasmania. A lot of cousins would have been happy this week. Hawthorn versus Essendon. Fuck's sake. This was another game like the Cats-Dogs game where the margin didn't extend past a certain threshold. I don't think the margin exceeded 3 goals either side all game, which was quite surprising. Hawthorn have come into a bit of form recently, obviously beating Sydney last week, showing up against Essendon and performing a 4-quarter effort. But the quality of Essendon won them the game in the end, I believe. Jake Stringer had one of those games that he has once every 3 months where he just goes off his tits. 4 goals, 29 touches. The package, that is prime package right there. Usually he's just like a flattened cardboard box. But they made him up, put some gifts in there. Here is the package in Tasmania. It's arrived. 4 goals, 29 touches, 3 Brownlow votes. There were lots of people calling for Essendon to be the winners of the week this week, but I couldn't give it to you for beating Hawthorn, unfortunately. But they have just signed Zach Merritt, a hot property who they've possessed, to a 5-year deal? Something like
that. Yeah, 2027, so I think 6.
All right, so yeah, he'll be at the club for a long time. And they're building well, Essendon. You did predict that this season they'd push finals and probably not make it, but they'd be there or thereabouts. And I didn't see it. But Essendon, as an Essendon fan right now, I think you'd look at the season with a smile on your face with the results that they've had. And this is just another one. Hawthorn down in Tassie, and you just played a great game. Even though it's Hawthorn, like most teams sort of brush over Hawthorn, they showed up to play, you got the job done, and it was a great game to watch.
Yeah, that's true. This is a game that Essendon could normally probably drop just because it's like they get challenged by someone they don't expect and drop it. But it was a pretty mature performance. Yeah, with Essendon at the moment, it's contrasting it to what it looked like at the trade period last year where we weren't sure what was happening with Zach Merritt. Now it's not a surprise at all that he's staying because they can finally sell a future to him.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, this club is actually moving up. Now you've got midfield partners Darcy Parish and Andrew McGrath is obviously injured at the moment, but you can see the club moving forward in the near future, so no surprises.
Yeah, definitely with the young talent coming through as well.
Yeah,
like how much they've shown. Essendon, good job. Not quite the winners of the week, but the way you're going to be in the A probably next year or the year after. So happy days for Essendon. In the miscellaneous section of the show, where I ask for questions on my Instagram, I've got a question here from freomemas, and he asks, Magpies versus the Dockers, what's your predictions? We're going to go talk about that on Just the Tips, but we'll give a quick rundown of that game. Magpies have just come back into form. Dockers have been playing all right. It's at Marvel. We don't play well at Marvel. We've lost twice there this season. What happened?
Fremantle has been better this year, no doubt. But Collingwood just knocked off Melbourne.
And Adelaide.
And like they've been playing decent.
But Freo beat Adelaide, bro. This is fucking bullshit, bro.
Yeah, but did you meet Melbourne?
No.
Nah. Theory debunked. Oh, I think I'm going to tip Collingwood.
I think I'm going to
I could see it going either way, though.
Yeah.
It'd be a very good win if Freo win, put it that way.
All right.
Because I respect Collingwood's like decent at the moment.
And
is
they're going to be
back in? He probably is,
maybe. He's not going to be at 100% if he is. Like, he's just going to battle through a hectic shoulder injury. But, yeah, it's going to be a very tight game. And for all the games next week, because we're back to 9 games around, so we're going to go talk about all of them on Just the Tips right now. But that's going to wrap up this episode of the DrewFooty Show. Please get me to 5K if you can. It would be an absolute birthday miracle because my birthday is next week as well.
True.
So, yeah, subscribe because it's my birthday.
Come on, guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, you plonkers.
Bye.